We are joined now by Donald Trump's campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway. Thanks for coming back to This Week. And let me begin where I began with Tim Kaine. Your boss seems pretty energized by all this. He's called this email issue worse than Watergate. How is it worse than Watergate?
He just sees that there's this constant cloud of corruption that follows Hillary Clinton around. And for the FBI to make this remarkable move 11 days before the election means there must be something there.
Watergate was a criminal conspiracy led by the President of the United States that had 48 people plead guilty.
Well, but George, and if you look at what's happened with Hillary Clinton and 2 FBI investigations this year, what Jim Comey did in July, on July 5th, he said, we declined to prosecute her. And then he went on to give us all the list of reasons why she should have been.
The prosecution said no reasonable person.
That's right. He said that, and then he, as a reasonable person, went through the whole list on July 5th in his very public statement of how reckless and careless she was. And then 2 days later, under oath in front of Congress, Jim Comey went through the whole list of contradictions of Hillary Clinton's own words. There was not just one device, there were 13. She did, in fact, exchange classified national security information. So he undercut his own premise, and he certainly undercut what Secretary Clinton have had. But look, I think for the voters at this stage, this plays right into their reluctance about Hillary Clinton anyway. In your own ABC polling, where the race is virtually tied, a third of likely voters say that this will make them less likely to vote for Hillary Clinton. So there is political currency attached to this. I would also remark in your poll something that's truly incredible. Whereas Mitt Romney lost to Barack Obama on the attribute of who cares more about people like you, 82 to 18, Trump and Clinton are tied. She's not seen as empathetic and compassionate. And I think issues like this, where people are reminded that she has put the national security at risk just for her peevish personal reasons, is very troubling for her.
Yeah, you know, Donald Trump has had praise for James Comey as well in the last couple of days. But we spoke just on Wednesday, and here's what he had to say about Mr. Comey. The FBI director appointed by Republicans said no reasonable prosecutor would bring this case.
Well, he made a mistake, okay, or whatever. I don't even call it a mistake. I think something happened. Look, something happened. You go into the well, I think somebody talked to him. I think, hey, look, how can President Clinton, when
so you're saying the head of the FBI is corrupt?
Something going on, George, she's so guilty.
So did somebody get to James Comey now?
We don't know, but what we do know is these were 2 separate investigations. So in the first one, Comey made an unprecedented public statement. He didn't need to do that. He set a very public standard for explaining away his own conclusion. So that, I think, brought him under much criticism and consternation. This is different. This is him saying, do I sit on new information and thereby affect election results by not disclosing the fact that, yet again, Hillary Clinton and her top aide and confidant, Huma Abedin, are putting this nation and its security and its people at risk? And he decided that he would have to come forward.
Should he come forward with more right now? Mike Pence, Mr. Trump's running mate, says that all the emails pertinent to their investigation should be released. Should they?
Sure, but we felt that way all the time. We felt that Hillary Clinton could get those 33,000 emails back unless she truly bleached them and deleted them forevermore. And frankly, George, Hillary Clinton can put this all to rest today by asking Huma Abedin to tell us all what is in those emails. We know that this is an investigation because her husband is sexting a 15-year-old girl in North Carolina. That's how we got back to this place. This is not the vast right-wing conspiracy. This is not the RNC or the Trump campaign. It's Huma Abedin's husband.
According to a source close to the investigation, she says it wasn't her computer. First she heard about this was Friday when the news broke.
Well, we don't know that. Apparently, Jim Comey and others disagree, or others doing the federal investigation into her husband's pedophiliac proclivities. And the fact is,
they haven't seen the emails.
Well, none of us have. But what Mike Pence is calling for is what we've always called for, which is full disclosure and transparency, honesty and immediacy. And that is really a problem that Hillary Clinton and her never-ending scandalabra always has, which is, do people trust her to always tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Her entire career is Hillary first. Our message is America first. Hers is Hillary first, whether she's representing a rapist and getting him off of a 12-year-old girl back in the 1970s, or she's doing this in the first place. The whole reason you and I are having this conversation is because Hillary Clinton decided to flout the law, set up a private server, put on emails that Jim Comey himself has said were classified and contained national security information.
On July 5th, Jim Comey said, I have no basis for concluding that Hillary Clinton was untruthful with us. Do you accept that conclusion?
Why then did he go to Congress 2 days later on July 7th, George? And when Trey Gowdy was asking him, Mrs. Clinton said there's one device. Is that true? No, sir, that's not true. There were multiple devices. She says there was no classified or confidential information. Is that true? Jim Comey under oath to Trey Gowdy. No, sir, there was national security or classified information. So he undercut his own conclusion. And he certainly undercut Hillary Clinton. Look, she has a very casual relationship with the truth, and people already know that. For these undecided voters, including in the ABC poll, they're most concerned about her veracity and her dishonesty, and this simply doesn't help.
You like our poll this morning showing a 1-point race, a lot different from last Sunday's 12-point race. Still have a tough road in the Electoral College, and other new polls out this morning show Hillary Clinton with a 6-point lead in North Carolina, a 1-point lead in Florida. You need both those states to have any chance of getting 270 electoral votes.
We do. I'm glad you mentioned those two states, because the early election returns in both North Carolina and Florida look very robust and very promising for our campaign. We're ahead of where Mitt Romney was at this stage in 2012. And in 2012 and in 2014 in North Carolina, both Mitt Romney and the Senator Tom Tillis were able to put away the race on Election Day. We like the absentee balloting, early voting investments that our campaign and the RNC have made together, because we see that bearing fruit. But in addition to winning Florida, Ohio, Iowa, and North Carolina, we feel very bullish about other states on the map, and we have a couple of insurance policies in there too. If
Name
Clinton, Pennsylvania, Colorado, Mr. Trump will be in New Mexico today and Michigan tomorrow. We're expanding our map at a time when Hillary Clinton is spending money on paid advertisements in Wisconsin, which has been blue for decades. And she had President Clinton, her husband, in Pennsylvania yesterday.
Also going to Arizona.
They've been camping out. Well, but that's a head fake, because when she goes to Arizona today, she will be asked, how do you abide 116% premium increases in Arizona through Obamacare right now? What will you do about Obamacare? Because people are clicking onto their computers, George, opening up their mailboxes and realizing in the state of Arizona, they will be on the hook for a 116% increase in their health care premiums. Why should Arizonans and other Americans be facing the very tough affordability questions of, should I pay the rent, should I feed my kids, or should I keep paying for my health care?
Tim Kaine mentioned the Trump Foundation this morning. Big story in the Washington Post that found, and I'm quoting here, the Post found that Donald Trump's personal giving has almost disappeared entirely in recent years. After calling 420-plus charities with some connection to Trump, the Post found only one personal gift from him between 2008 and the spring of 2009 this year. They call into question all of the promises he's made about giving to charity. Will Mr. Trump finally come forward, release his tax returns, and show what he's given? Not
until our accountants and our lawyers say that we should. We're under audit. But he has disclosed a 104-page financial disclosure form that is publicly available. Anybody can pull it up, and I say that they should. But the idea that we're going to compare and equate, let alone conflate, the Clinton Foundation and the Trump Foundation. The Trump Foundation has no family members on the payroll. There's no overhead. Nobody takes a penny from it. The Clinton Foundation takes money from countries that disrespect women. And that, along with the Clinton Foundation paying its men much more handsomely than it pays its women, I think Hillary Clinton is hypocritical to say she's going to be there for women.
But can you document any contributions to charity over the last several years from the foundation? The Post couldn't find any, and you all wouldn't respond to them.
Well, I'm told by those who are in charge of the Clinton Foundation, which is not those of us at the campaign.
Trump Foundation.
The Trump Foundation, yes, George, that he's been incredibly generous with his time and his money over the years. He started that foundation with just his money. He was the only contributor to the Trump Foundation for a number of years.
But nothing over the last 5 years.
But I just don't know that. But I would say that as running for president, he's built a movement where people feel like they are included, and they feel like their tax returns will look a heck of a lot better a year or 4 years from now with him as president.
Kellyanne, Conway, thanks very much.
Thank you.